Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So I know that I don't usually do wrap-ups, but this month I was unable to do like a what the fuck am I reading, so I'm just doing a wrap-up for all the books that I read this month. The month isn't technically over, but I'm doing this anyway because I've read so many fucking books this month, like 22 or 23 already. So we're stopping here. So in this one, I'm going to include all the books that I've read except for the SPFFC ones, because I read the quarterfinalists to select the 3 ones that are going to pass to the next stage basically, and I'm going to talk about them in a separate video as last year. We still have like 15-16 books to talk about. Let's just get into it because this is going to be so long. So I'm going to start with the one that I finished first, and what a mistake. What a mistake was. I read Horizonte Estrellas, which is a Spanish book by a Spanish author who won a pretty prestigious award that we have here in Spain for SFF books, basically. And, you know, from the summary, it sounded very interesting. It's basically a first contact with aliens type of thing. And, oh my god, I was so wrong. I was so wrong. Like, it started out pretty good until you get to the misogynistic parts. And they're just like, unnecessary sexism, you know? We started off great, and then because we didn't have enough with that, we also have a little bit of fat phobia thrown in there. So I should record a fucking rant about this book, but let me just settle them with a little bit. So basically, we have the ship, they are traveling to a new planet basically and starting life there. So the thing is, the ship stops in the middle of nowhere, systems are not working, and some of the colonists are starting to mutate inside the cryogenic pods. The thing is, they also find a alien ship, because we already had contact with aliens, with another type of alien in this book, and they are the ones helping us get into that star system with this kind of faster than light travel thing. So the thing is, we find another alien ship outside, and they are just like, oh sure, everyone is mutating, but let's just check out the ship, cause who fucking cares about the people here? Let's just don't miss this opportunity. And they just assemble a team and decide to go into the fucking ship. The thing is, the ship is kind of sentient, and they trap them there. Who would have thought, right? So until that point, I was just like, okay, this is fairly interesting. It's very science heavy, but then you have like these fucking awkward lines that come out of nowhere. Out of fucking nowhere, and it's just so annoying. Oh my god, the fucking fat phobia. You have a linguist that is fat, and the only characteristic about him is that he's a linguist and he is fat. That's it. Everyone has like brown eyes, brown hair. Doesn't matter, he's just fat. He's fat, you know, and because he is fat, he's in the ship and he decides to eat a fucking plant of the ship. Why? Because he's fat. He's fat. He cannot resist to eat one of the fucking plants. And then he brings the fucking like kind of fungus back into the other ship. It's just so annoying, man. I do have to say that this one has a cool point, because they actually at the end talk about gender, about how one of the characters actually always felt like a man, but they were born in the body of a woman, and they are just like, well, if you want to, we can give you another body if you're feeling more comfortable with that, which was fine. That was great. But what was the rest? Like, that was so dumb. Oh my god, it made me so mad. And the thing is, this is actually pretty hard sci-fi, and it could have been so good. And it's also very metaphorical and such, but oh my god, there were so many fucking dumb things in there. Like, it made me fucking mad. I read it in 2 days and I was just like, please let me have this. Let this be over. Let this be over. I give it 2 stars. Also, the ending is pretty fucking bad. Like, it's not good at all. And the fact that this has an award makes me so nervous, because I have another one of the awarded books in here, and it's just like, oh man, it's so hard to find good SFF books originally written in Spanish, honestly, like from Spanish authors, I mean, not Latin American authors. But this was trash, honestly. Like, I'm so mad that this actually was awarded. Like, oh, I grabbed The Hobbit, but no. I read The Fellowship of the Ring. I'm just too lazy to grab the other one. I read The Fellowship of the Ring. Here you go, a picture. And I actually loved it as much as the first time. Are the songs a little bit annoying? Yes, but I listened to it as an audiobook and it didn't bother me that much. I could just skim through them, no problem. But man, I just really love this. I don't mind the writing style. It's very descriptive and very info dumpy and very world building heavy, but I just love that. So I was completely fine with it. So I'm not going to stop too much into this because we already know this is one of my favorite series. I give it 5 stars. It was fantastic. Then the next one that I finished was Vagabonds, which I liked, but at the same time it was so different from what I was expecting. I don't know why, but I thought this was more of a setting on a ship. I don't know why I thought that, but it's more of a Earth versus Mars type of situation, which I don't mind, but I wasn't expecting it, so it's fine. It's also a very kind of lyrical, metaphorical, why are we here? We need to conserve history and such, which is cool, but it's also like more than that, which I appreciate. But yeah, it's also super depressing. For some reason, I felt so depressed throughout this whole book. Every time that I was listening to it, I was just like, I'm fucking sad, dude. I don't know what it was, but it was just like super, not sad, but melancholic, like very, very, very melancholic, especially towards the end. And there's also a scene here where they explore like some ruins from previous colony on Mars that I actually thoroughly enjoyed. It was super interesting. It was very like mysterious, but man, melancholic as hell, like we have like I had that feeling of constriction where I was just like, oh my god, I'm so sad reading this. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I will highly recommend it. It has like a very, like, are we the good ones? Are they the good ones? Is their system good? Is our system good? Shouldn't we combine the systems? You know, a little bit of everything. I just really liked it and I highly recommend it. Then I read Station Eternity. This copy was actually gifted to me by Chelsea, so thank you so much. I will link her channel down below. But oh man, I really like this. I read it in a day. I was just so into it. Like, it's very, very, very over the top, satirical, humorous. It's like sometimes makes no fucking sense, like super nonsensical, but I just really liked it. It's very different from this author's previous work, 6 Weeks. You might have heard of that. But this is so different, but still kind of similar. It's also kind of a murder mystery, but the thing is, our main character believes that she basically causes death around her, and every time that she is near someone, they die. The thing is, she decides to basically flee Earth, and she gets into this station called Station Eternity, which is like a sentient station. We have a bunch of different aliens living in there, and it's just like very, I'm looking for a word, not parasitic. Like when you get something, but the other thing that you're attached to gets something, gets also something. I just cannot think about the word. It's very like that. And I actually really liked it. We have also other 2 humans in this station. I'm not going to spoil that because it's kind of part of the plot, but I just really liked it. The thing is, apparently humans are now coming into the station. So our main character is very afraid because she is going to kind of make the humans die again. It's very nonsensical. I just really liked it in general, honestly. Even though I'm not a huge fan of humor in books, really liked it. Also, this is so deceiving. It looks like a very short book, right? It's such a lie. It has almost 450 pages. This shit. Yeah, the pages are just like Bible pages. I really liked it. Definitely will recommend it. I give it 4 stars. It was a super enjoyable ride, honestly. It also is more sci-fi than I was expecting, by the way. Like, I thought it was going to be more of a mystery than a science fiction book, but it has pretty like science heavy topics here. So extra points for that. Then sadly, we need to talk about this one. I tried to read Master of Poisons. The thing is, I DNF'd this one at 60%. I wasn't feeling it at all. This is a climate, is that the word? Type of fantasy novel. And I wasn't feeling it at all. I read 60% of it and I was just like, you know what? Not for me at the time. It's a soft DNF. I will pick this one up in the future again and give it another chance. But man, I was so bored. And also, I don't know why, but I mixed completely every single character name in my mind. So every time that I picked it up, I was just like, who is this? I don't know. Where are we? Like, I was so lost and confused throughout this one. But the thing is, I'm just going to put it down for now and then pick it up later in the year and just give it like a proper try. But yeah, sadly, this one was a no for now. I also read Gideon Falls Volume 3, which I completely adore. We're not going to stop into the series anymore because I'm going to talk about this one more on the next video. And I have already talked about this one because it was one of the best books that I've read this year. Amazing, fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. I also read House of Slaughter Volume 2, which I had no idea it was already out, but it then showed up in my house and I was just like, okay, sure. But basically House of Slaughter is a spin-off of Something's Killed the Children. And the thing is, they follow like different characters and they are self-contained stories. So you can learn more about the world basically. And this one, I didn't feel at all. Like, I gave it 3 stars, but it's probably more like a 2.5 more than anything, honestly. But it's basically about one of the hunters and they can kind of make pictures, not make pictures, but draw the monsters. It's just like a very weird concept. I was reading it, I was just like, I'm not getting it. I didn't feel this one, honestly. If you feel like reading it, for sure do it, because the art is still fucking amazing. It's just fucking beautiful. It's also very scary. I just really liked it. I'm in love with the main series. I will still read everything that is about it basically. But yeah, this one I didn't feel like, more of a 2.5 stars, honestly. Then this month I finally read Kingdom of Liars by Nick Martel. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this one. I felt like the start was excellent. You are basically going to follow our main character and he is the son of a previously convicted killer, basically. The thing is, when we start the book, the prologue is basically about this main character being actually convicted for killing the king too. So very many parallels here and there, but I thought it was a great start. Like, it got me hooked in right from the start, and you're basically going to follow him trying to restore his family's name, basically, which feels like a very like meh story, but it actually has so many like cool things. This book has a good chunk of political intrigue too, because he befriends Noble and they are trying to figure out what the hell happened with their parents. There's a kind of revolution here. We have the sister and the brother, and the cool thing is that they are actually linked with the royal family. Like, they are the Kingsmen basically, and each one of them in their family is actually connected to one of the members of the royal family. And the relationship between the Kingsman sister and the fucking annoying piece of shit of the royal family was great, and I really liked it. I'm not going to say anything else. But the thing that I like the most here, other than the plot being like very fast paced also, I just really liked it in general. I was very into the story. I was looking for the moment so I can continue listening to it. And the thing that I liked the most, I think, was the magic system, which is related to memory. Basically, it's called fabrication. And the thing is, you can be a fabricator of different things, but each time you use your fabrication, you lose a little, like, some memories. And you don't know which ones. And it's just such a cool concept that allows you to do so many cool things, like what they did here. So cool. It's not a plot twist on itself, but the twist at the end was great. I just really liked it. But yeah, the fabrication aspect was fantastic, and I highly recommend this series. I gave it 4.5. Really enjoyed it. I'm reading book 2 this month. Just to mention it, I also read Gideon Falls Volume 4. Loved it just the same. Gave it 5 stars. It's amazing. I just love this series so much. Then I also finished A Ravencaller, which is the next book after Soulkeeper by David Dalglish. I really enjoy this series. Like, I don't love it. I kind of prefer Kingdom of Liars, but this one feels like a very comforted read. Like, it's just cool in general. The first book is basically about these 2 siblings, and the first one is a Soulkeeper, but he kind of turns into a monster hunter. And then we also have Adria, who is kind of a priestess, and she gets some awesome powers, and I don't know, it's just like the continuation of that. And in a way, I think I liked it more and also less, because there's here like a siege to a city, technically, which, you know, I love that so much. And you know, at midnight these owls came in and basically slaughtered everyone, and they turned them into kind of zombies too. It was just super cool. I love that part, and it made me like the part of the city more than in the previous book. But I also feel like the beginning of the first book was fantastic. So a little bit of everything, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. I will highly recommend this series if you're looking for like a cool like fantasy book. Also, the ending got me like, I'm also reading book 3 this month because I was just like so shocked by the ending. Like I ate it up, basically. I was just like, oh man. So yeah, I'm continuing this month because I really liked it. So I did already finish a series this year, and I finally read When Villains Rise by Rebecca Schaeffer, which is the final book in Not Even Bones trilogy, which is a YA series that I fucking adore because it is very gory and dark, and I just really liked it. Basically, in the first book, you're going to follow Nita, and she hunts monsters. Monsters are a thing in this world, and everyone knows that. We have like the dangerous ones and the non-dangerous ones. And the dangerous ones are basically on a list, and Nita and her mom hunt them down basically, and they sell them to the black market. The thing is, one day Nita is actually the one being sold, and she ends up in the black market, and she has to run away. It's super cool. Super cool. We also have a character that it's out of people's pain. It's just super cool. I actually quite enjoyed this last book. I do have to say that after reading book 1 and 2 so long ago, I didn't feel as connected to these characters as I was before. But I still really enjoyed it. I will 100% recommend this series to anyone, honestly. It's just so cool. In general, the concept is fantastic. The characters are great. The relationship between them is also really cool. We also have like, they feel like they have like a relationship, but I just love the fact that they talk about it and they were just like, is this like a love interest? I'm just like very friendly to you. Do I just like you in another way? I just really like that they actually talk about it, and this wasn't just like any other fucking YA book where they were just like in love by the end of the series. Loved it. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. 100% would recommend this series, honestly. Just check it out. It's urban fantasy. It's fucking great. Then I read Eclipse, which I need to do like a full review still on Goodreads because I'm a little bit of a mess on that. But I will send this one for review by the author, and this is a sci-fi series. This is book 1 and it's coming out on February, so be sure to check it out because I actually really enjoyed it. Right off the bat, I give it 4 stars. Super enjoyable. We're basically going to follow like 2 main characters, 2 main points of view. But the thing is, we have Django who lives in the station, and they basically think that they are the only humans left. Basically, they are trying on reconstructing Earth, and basically every resource on this spaceship is going to Earth. The thing is, one day on the wedding of, was it his sister? I think it was his sister or cousin. I think it's his sister. One of the panel breaks, and he sees that, whoa, Earth is actually pretty green unlike last time. So everything goes a little bit on a spiral there, and he has to figure some shit out basically. And then we're going to follow Mika and Abigail. We start with Abigail, but then we're going to follow, we're going to focus more on Mika. And they are both like kind of not space pirates, but definitely on the contraband side of things. And I actually quite enjoyed this side of the story, but I feel like it's a little bit spoilery, honestly. So I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but I do have to say I found one thing annoying, and it's the fact that Abigail calls everyone love at the end of the sentence. I hate that. I hate that as a person. I just cannot. But the rest I actually thoroughly enjoy. I like that the discovery of the Django's story wasn't like a plot twist, because we saw that from a mile away and it was evident to us, the readers. So I actually liked that it was just a plot twist for him and their crew and the crew basically, which, thank you. But yeah, it was super easy to follow. It's not very science fiction heavy. Like, in a sense that it's not a hard sci-fi, but it's very like dystopia, science fiction, which if you like that, you're going to really like this one, honestly. It's also very enjoyable and easy to read. Like, it has like a very cool flow. Like, I read this one physically, and I read it in like 3 days. I was just like very into the writing style, so yeah. But I do have to say that it's not a bad thing, but it feels like very prologue-y. Like, everything that happens here is just like the beginning of the story, which makes sense for book 1, but it's not like there's too much plot after just like figuring shit out. So I don't know. I will definitely check the next books in this series, honestly. But yeah, I give it 4 stars again. I will highly recommend it. Check it out. It comes out on February. Then I read another graphic novel. This is Lume, and it's actually on my native tongue, which is not Spanish either, but it's in Galician, and I actually really liked it. The art is beautiful, honestly. It's such a like mindfuck of a read. This is a science fiction graphic novel, but it's also very sad and very melancholic. It's basically about a meteor that is about to strike Earth, and an architect that is trying to build a city on the moon to just save humanity, basically. The thing is, only like the wealthy ones can afford it, and he's also like diagnosed with brain cancer, and he's about to die before the comet strikes, basically, or around that time. It was so sad. Everything about this graphic novel is very sad, but I have to say that even though it sounds like it has a lot of plot, it's like that shit just gets resolved in like the first 20 pages, and then it's just like a very metaphorical, lyrical ride, which it wasn't really what I was on board with, but the art was beautiful, so overall I enjoyed it. I give it 3 stars. Would recommend it, but yeah, very sad. Following the same path with and continuing with Rebecca Schaeffer, I read City of Nightmares, which I had an arc for, but I kind of didn't read it on time. And oh man, the concept of this was great. It's basically set on a city where if you have a dream and it's a nightmare, you become that nightmare and you terrorize the city and they have to put you down, basically. And people just take this pill so they cannot dream. It's just a super cool concept, but then towards the middle, just goes on a loophole that has nothing to do with it, in my opinion. And it bothered me a lot because the concept has so much potential. I much prefer Not Even Bones than this one, honestly. Also, the main character, I start liking her at the beginning because she is actually a coward, and she is portrayed as a coward. And I actually like that in books when the main character is not just like this all fucking brave character. It's fine to be fucking terrified. And the thing is, from one page to another, she does this fucking 360, and then she's no longer a coward and she's like a fucking badass. And I'm just like, that's not really how it works, you know? Like, you can change and be more brave, but you won't be like this. She even does blackmail at a point, and I'm just like, weren't you afraid like 2 pages ago? What the hell? So yeah, that part was a little bit of a bummer, but overall, I enjoyed it. I give it 3 stars. Probably more of a 3.5, but the concept is great. I will probably continue this series just for the concept alone. I just love everything that has to do with memory and dreams, and that's, I just love it. So yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it, though I don't think I would recommend this one to everyone. Like, it's more of a, yeah, you find the concept interesting, yeah, give it a chance. If not, you can pass on it. Finally, second to last, we have this song Rising by Samantha Shannon. I don't know, I was in a really weird mood last month, and I've read just like so many different things. But I've read the Bone season years ago, and I binge read the Bone season in the Mind order, and then I bought book 3, and I never got into it. But the 4th book came out last year, and I was pretty interested. And you know what? This month I was just like, you know what? I'm going to continue because I got the 4th book for super cheap. I already had the audiobook, and I was just like, okay, this is meant to be. This is meant to be. But basically in the Bone season we follow Peach Mahoney, and the thing is, this is a dystopian world where the other world, the spirit world, is actually connected, and you have like some dream walkers and stuff like that. We have very different powers related to the spirit world, basically. And we also have a kind of entity that is basically trying to hunt these people down, and it's a lot. But this is actually an adult series. I do feel like the first 2 books are more YA than adult, but definitely this one is more adult, and I feel like book 4 is going to be more even. So I'm very excited. I love to see how Samantha Shannon has improved her writing, honestly, from you know, the Bone Season to the Mime Order to the Priory of the Orange Tree to this one to the Mime Order. Not the Mime Order. What is it called? Book 4. I just completely forgot. Mime Order is book 2. But yeah, I'm just very excited to continue, honestly. And I will be reading book 4 next month. Stop it, please. Stop it, please. But yeah, I ended up giving this one 3 stars because I was very confused because it's been such a long time since I actually read the first 2 books. But it took me a little bit to get into it. I still read it in like 2 days. I was very, very into it the moment I understood everything. So it was pretty fine. Honestly, I would give this series a chance. Like, it's not going to be for everyone, but it's just very interesting. And finally, the last book that I read was such a good book. This is What Lies in the Woods. Or in the shadows. Is it in the shadows? Is it not in the woods? Did I put their name wrong? What Lies in the Books, yeah. What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall, which is one of, honestly, my favorite authors by now. Like, I've read almost every single one of her books except These Fleeting Shadows, which I'll still need to read, but I'll get into that one. And oh man, this is actually her first step into adult mystery. I think it's her first one. The other ones are YA, and they're also fucking good. Like, oh my god, Rose for Vanishing is one of my favorite books. I just love that book so much. But this one was actually fantastic. This is a mystery thriller, and it was so well constructed. It's basically about these 3 girls that had this Greek goddesses type of game in the woods, and one day one of them is attacked and she almost dies basically, and they send this serial killer to jail, and 20 years later she's back and something is really weird, and one of the survivors basically dies. So she is basically figuring everything out. We also find very early on that they actually were like kind of playing with the fucking corpse for a bit. So it's just a lot, but it works so well. It has like this type of kind of disjointed narrative where you're in the past and the present, jumping around a little bit, and it just worked great. It works so well. I really, really like the ending. It has like several plot twists. Not the best ones in the world, but they work so well. And the story with the Greek elements is just so cool. I just loved it. Like, my nerd heart was so into it. But yeah, I really liked it. I ended up giving it 4.5. It's been a while since I read a thriller that I actually really, 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 really enjoyed. So I'm just super happy about it. But yeah, give this one a chance if you like mystery thrillers in general. You're going to not be disappointed by it, honestly. Those were all the books besides the 6 books for SPFFC that I've read this month. It's too much. It's definitely too much. But have you read any of these books? What books have you finished this month? Please just let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.